We're recording.
Oh, cool.
How are you doing today, Audra?
Pretty good. A little nervous, but I'll get over that.
Oh, no need to be. No need to be. This is a pretty laid back, like just freestyle type of podcast. I don't do anything too crazy.
Crazy's kind of fun too, but no, it's just the equipment is so cool. It's kind of overwhelming. Not overwhelming, but I feel like it's like really professional, and I I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the goal though, because I mean, you obviously are here in my studio. You had to come into my basement. And I'm like, one of the things that like when I started the podcast, I'm like, I need to have professional equipment because I don't want to be just like some guy with like a mic or two sitting on a couch in the living room. And then people are like, I have to go in his basement. Like this doesn't seem professional whatsoever. So by having like a professional space, at least you kind of like, once you get into the room, you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. We're in a studio. We're in like a space. I don't know, kind of puts it into perspective a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really professional.
Well, thank you.
I feel like a celebrity almost. So cool.
Well, I mean, this podcast was kind of like modeled off of like Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm a huge fan of his and of his podcast. And I'm like, well, I see how he did it and it works. That's how I want to do it.
Actually, that's exactly what it reminds me of, like his setup completely.
Yeah.
I've only seen like clips of it. I haven't seen like a full episode or anything.
Okay.
But this is exactly what it looks like. So you hit your target right there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it definitely helps me like be motivated to continue doing podcasts because I obviously bought all this gear, so I'm like I have to use it. If I don't use it, my wife's gonna kill me. But yeah. Anyways, less about me, more about you. So you obviously are a business owner here in Lansing, the Lansing area. Were you born and raised here? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I actually was born in Lansing at Sparrow.
Ah.
Then I went to school here in Lansing until like 5th grade. And
What school did you go to?
Atwood Elementary.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's.
Oh, actually, no, I have heard of it.
Yeah, it's still around, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Diamonddale, and I ended up graduating from Holt, and then I moved to Wacusta area, which there we have our business is just down the street. It's in the industrial park in Grand Ledge, so it's just like 5 minutes from my house. So my house is part of my business too, because I have a lot of storage there. So still very small.
I could imagine that you are probably just swarmed. Like your house probably just has a bunch of stuff at it because that's what you do. You collect things, you resell things, right?
Oh yeah, what I tell people sometimes is that like, especially we work with hoarders, that I take on the hoard for a while. So I take on that role for a while until I can like recycle it, distribute it, get things taken care of, because there's like a lot of like storing of even just recycling until I get enough that I can ship it. So yeah.
So what is I guess let's first off, how did you get into the to this business? What made you decide that you wanted to collect people's things and resell them or like recycle them?
Oh, there's a lot to that. My parents, my dad has always been kind of like a reseller, and my mom had the recycling aspect. So it was like I learned the reselling from my dad. My mom has always been very eco-friendly, tried to teach us to recycle from a very young age. So I kind of had both with me. And not that I ever at first planned on going into this. I went to school and got a degree in criminal justice, actually for probation and parole.
Ooh.
So a very, very big switch, a very big switch.
Did you ever end up doing that?
No, not really. The furthest I went was I worked at a place called Adam where we did drug testing for people on probation and parole. But the thing is, I feel like I have too big of a heart where I was trying to help the clients too much.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever swap urine for them?
Oh my gosh. No. No, I mean, like, I know that I just get a heart for some of them were sent by like CPS and knowing that maybe they weren't even actually supposed to be there. Like they maybe, it was like a vengeful situation, like exes sending them there because they're not together anymore or something. I kind of felt for them sometimes.
Yeah.
And also sometimes the system isn't made for those people, or not even just those people, anybody. I guess I could be saying that wrong, but that sometimes like places that drug test and stuff like that, they're there to make money. They want you to violate.
Yeah.
And I want to see people succeed. I really do.
Right.
So that place wasn't really for me. So, yeah, I don't know. What was the question again?
It was, I asked if you had ever done anything in the criminal justice system.
Oh, yeah. So that's probably the furthest that I went. I I guess not, because I'm remembering my life.
You're good.
From there, I went on to work at Elder Law of Michigan, and I did my internship there through. It was a elder abuse prevention. So I did my internship there, and then I just kind of, after I worked through that, then I just continued to work there. And so I guess that's not necessarily criminal justice, but that kind of led to my job now. Is everybody would always bring me stuff. Like we had this program that was for people that had gotten evicted or had lost their house, and we were helping them get a new place. And it was a program through HUD, and I was helping them get stuff for their new place. And that wasn't really my job, but it just kind of became a side thing that I did. So I was collecting stuff, and then eventually I was laid off. But I was doing this continually for a couple of years, and then I was laid off, and then people still wrote me, and they said, "Hey, I have, some dressers, I have a bunch of bedding, do you want it?" And I would say, "Okay, sure." I said, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to give it to people right now. I'm trying to figure out a new job for myself, but I created a job out of people giving me stuff.
Wow. That's awesome. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. And I created it out of things I enjoyed, I guess, because I was like, back to my parents, I had the reseller aspect. I was pretty good at selling stuff to people, and also I had the eco-friendly part because a lot of the stuff was secondhand.
Right. So. Wow. So how do you sell these things? Do you have a website? Do you have a storefront?
Well, we do kind of a mixture of things. We've had a storefront at one time. It didn't last, well, for a few reasons. One, the roof collapsed.
Oh, geez.
And so, and it collapsed during a time when it was absolutely just like pouring rain. So I lost a lot of inventory, but we had to move out. But honestly, we couldn't have maintained it. Like between me and Aaron, my husband, we couldn't. Doing the cleanouts and doing the paperwork and advertising, I couldn't run a store. I just couldn't do it all. So it wouldn't have lasted anyway. So how I sell now, basically like Marketplace, Mercari, eBay. I have like sales. I list everything that I list online. I besides like the little stuff I list on like Mercari, which I do share on our page, but I do a lot of that through Facebook.
Wow.
I do have a website, but that's also kind of hard to maintain. I do some sales through there. So like some of our like cooler stuff's on our website, but I usually eventually put on Facebook too. So our biggest following would be Facebook.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that like today, in today's day and age, you don't need to have a storefront. Like back in the day, you kind of had to have a storefront in order to sell things.
Right.
But now it's like you just open a store online or on Facebook or anywhere, and people can buy. People will buy.
Yeah,
it's almost
true.
I mean, I guess it's more economically like feasible that way.
It is. We have a big warehouse too. Like there's a lot of people that are like antsy to come shop, and a lot of people that see what I have. So, I mean, eventually I would like to have some kind of storefront, but at this point we just have a warehouse where we do allow people to schedule a time, but we're also like, if you ever get a chance to see the warehouse, it is crazy. It's so there's like stuff piled on stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And it's supposed to be just storage for us. I mean, that's what it was originally intended, but then in the summer months we have events to sell stuff, but then I also bring in like a nonprofit part of, and not that I am a nonprofit, but like I try to have other people can come out and sell stuff too. So like we have like our next big event will be in May, and we're having the Humane Society is coming out for bringing puppies and kittens.
Wow, where's that at?
That is
You're
actually
so excited.
I am so excited. Especially I just talked to the lady and she said there's gonna be kittens too, and I was like, yes. We're actually right down the street from the Humane Society. So we're on Grand River Avenue.
Okay.
And it's this newer industrial park, and it's on the opposite side of where the Humane Society is, like past Flying J.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know where that's at.
Yeah, like if you've heard anything about like this new Eagle mega site that they're trying to build. Oh, well, anyway, that's been kind of a little bit in the news, and they're trying to build it across the street from us.
Is that an Eagle?
Yeah. Well, we're considered Grand Ledge.
Okay. Yeah.
But I guess just a little bit further down the street is Eagle, so we're right there on the borderline.
So what are they planning on building?
Oh gosh, it's like really heated thing right now, and I don't know all the information.
Breaking
I've been following.
news.
Yeah. They want to. The mega site that they're trying to build there is like some kind of chip plant or a battery plant, which is
Another battery plant?
Yeah. And it makes me nervous because like there's so many wild animals over there. And then there's kind of like this feud with MSU they're having because MSU was given the land and they're supposed to keep the land agricultural, and now they're trying to build on it. So
Of course they are.
Right.
Wow.
So there's been a lot of like protesting in Eagle, and
I did not know any of this. That's crazy. So a battery plant or a chip plant?
Yeah.
And they're already building a battery plant
yeah,
in Delta Township.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's a GM like partially owned plant.
Oh, well, they're I guess right now we've won for a little while because the plant that was, or the place that was looking to build there has decided to build in Battle Creek, but the land is still up for sale, and now there's still other people
wanting to put their dirty little hands on it.
Right, exactly. So the people in Eagle, one thing though, it is so inspiring to see these people getting together and like making change.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I think it's called Stop the Mega Site Eagle. If it's like on Facebook, you should check it out. Like it's cool that they've the main lady, I think her name's Corey, that got everything going. Wow, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not cool the mega site that's coming, but
yeah.
I'm hoping that they can stop it. But she's brought everyone together, collected all the information. She's been going to the meetings at the township.
See, that's the thing about like movements like that it kind of gets depressing because things like people will stand together, but then it kind of fades away. And it'd be really cool if people did stay together on something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Stop the mega center.
Mega site.
Mega site.
Yeah. Hopefully. And it's an Eagle. Maybe I'll check it too, just so hopefully I gave you the right information there.
There it is.
Oh, did you find it?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
Wow. That's wild. So there's a Facebook group. Stop the mega site Eagle.
And it's not all just going to be directly like across from our warehouse, but that's one of the, it's actually a really big part of the land, but it's going to affect like Grand Ledge. It might affect part of Portland. So it's a lot of, I'm glad that we're able to make some people aware that they didn't know, because my parents even didn't know about it when I talked to them last, and it's been on the news.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I'll have to research that more. Um, yeah, hopefully something like that doesn't come in. I mean, Lansing's become such a industrialized city recently. I mean, we have the Amazon factory, we have the new battery plant. Obviously, GM's there. I work at GM.
Oh,
GM's there. We have a couple GM plants in Lansing. There's so many big places here, which is good for like jobs and whatnot. But at the same time, it's sad to see this land being used in that way. Yeah, I know that the one in Battle Creek that you had mentioned was going to be a battery plant for Ford.
oh.
Yeah.
I don't know like all the specifics. I've been trying to follow as much as I can because it will completely affect my business because they're even talking about like rerouting the road and the way traffic comes in. If it were some kind of like, even I wouldn't necessarily like this either, but if it were some kind of like Walmart or something like that, we don't have much of that in our area.
Right.
And that would still at least bring some business to me and then the other people in our complex.
Right.
But something like a battery plant,
all you're gonna have is traffic.
yeah, and it's gonna be harder for people to get to us. They're gonna reroute the roads, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to any of that. I just want it to stay the same. Change is just tough overall anyway.
Change is tough. It can be good, can be bad in certain aspects. How long have you done this? Or how long have you had your business?
I'd say about 10 years now. I mean, we like being like insured and all that, or registered actual business, I would say maybe like 5 to 6. But
Okay.
doing this kind of like as a side hustle kind of thing, we did that, and just kind of learning to become an actual business, probably like 10 years total.
Wow. What is I mean, I could imagine that you've gone into some sketchy situations, maybe some sketchy places, some sketchy homes to collect stuff. I'm sure you've seen some wild things, right? Like with hoarders.
Oh yeah.
What is the wildest thing you've seen?
Probably probably there was a mummified cat.
Ooh.
So it had been like under a lot of garbage in a house, and I can't remember what Aaron didn't, when he found it at first, and he didn't realize that it was an actual cat at first. Like he thought it was like a towel. I tried to remember his actual wording. It was hilarious, but oh yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of that.
Oh my gosh, you have a picture.
Yeah, we saved it because it was unreal. I'd say that was probably one of the odder things that we've seen. I mean, we've seen some really cool things too. Very, very cool things. There's a cane that we have from the 1800s.
Whoa.
That is gold plated on the top, and it's from a church out of New York. And we were working with that church for a while, but we've kind of lost communication to try to figure out and learn more about it and things like that. The person that hired us, she'd actually, after we got, like, she didn't have any family, and she'd passed away after being hired, and she had so much stuff. We probably did like 3 or 4 complete, the biggest size U-Haul that you could get, 3 or 4 of those.
Whoa.
And so going through it took us like a couple of years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that was probably one of the cooler things. There's also, which we still haven't completely had this verified, but there's a brick from Booker T. Washington's cabin that we're still working on getting that verified, and that's I mean, it maybe not anything. Maybe it's just something someone wrote, but there's a lot of, like, they had a lot of documentation with it already, so we're working on having that looked into. That was pretty cool, even if it's not anything. It's still kind of a fun story investigating it.
Yeah, I could imagine that you would find some amazing things.
Yeah, and things that people think are trash, I think are absolutely amazing treasures.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just telling my wife this before you came. It's like so many people get rid of good things that like other people would love to have. And I mean, so like they just throw them away, or they throw them in a storage unit or whatever, or they give them away. Whereas like somebody else would probably buy that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Now, do you buy any storage units or anything like that?
We have bought storage units, and we've been hired to, even just removed stuff from storage units before. Storage units are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a friend that did that. He just kind of did it on the side. He would just like, I think they have like auctions and whatnot in Lansing, and he would just go on the site, buy it, and then like there was times where he like come across like just random things, like a storage unit full of toys and a storage unit full of like weights and workout equipment, which is wild. That's a jackpot right there.
Toys are my jam. Toys are my favorite. I love toys. Oh, the older the better. I mean, I kind of swing a little towards the girl toys, you know,
yeah.
like from my childhood, like the My Little Ponies, and sometimes it's hard to sell those, so I become a little toy hoarder for a little while. But I also like the older, like G.I. Joes and He-Man toys. I even like that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I love toys.
Especially because you can't find G.I. Joes anymore.
No.
I mean, they don't sell them.
I mean, a little bit on eBay. Oh, I didn't know that. Like in stores, you can't. What? Nope. Why are they like controversial or something?
Probably.
Oh.
I actually just gave my son a bunch of GI Joes I had from when I was a kid, and he loves them. They have the guns, which is cool because like the magazines come out. You can like, I don't know, shoot rockets and like just so cool. Like the things that you used to be able to buy for the GI Joes were amazing, and yeah, you can't buy them anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he loves them.
Oh yeah, my son it's funny. He can go into like any place and he'll find the rarest cool. Like I'm like, I don't want you touching that, but he can find it though. He'll be the finder of any cool, unique toys. Like he's got that in common with me, that we both really enjoy finding old toys.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I could imagine that for him. It would be really exciting because then he might be able to keep something.
Oh yeah.
Or he's the first to play with it.
The problem that we found with him is that he will go he came into your house, he'd be like thinking it's a clean out. He'd be like, oh, my toys. And I'm like, this isn't, nope, this is his house. You can't just be grabbing up toys.
Oh, that's funny.
So that part, I mean, he's good once we tell him, but he just assumes he'll be like running in like, job, and going to grab toys. Now,
you had mentioned that you guys clean out junk for people, right? Yes. So you guys do all kinds of junk removal.
Yes. Yeah. So we mainly, and it's not that we like went this way, but we usually focus on like big jobs. And I think that's just kind of where this led us, is we do smaller jobs as well. But for the most part, I'd say probably 90% of what we do is like hoarder situations, like abandoned properties. A lot of people are moving and just leaving a lot of their stuff. I don't know, that's really odd, but they're that large downsizing, which is almost like a full clean out, or not clean out. Like it's almost like a hoarder situation, a little cleaner. But the hoarder ones are my favorite.
Really?
To be honest, yeah.
Why? Because you find just awesome things.
Yeah, and most hoarders hoard paper, and paper is also something I really like.
Paper.
Yeah, just like old documents. Like,
okay.
I found like marriage certificates from like the 1800s.
What do you do with things like that?
I save them. I usually do take pictures of them and like on Instagram. I'll like white out, and most of the people are dead, but right. I will white not necessarily white out their names, but like put something over their names, but just to share it. A lot of people like to see that. I've gotten like some really old maps of Grand Ledge.
Really?
Yeah, and I one point was talking to them about maybe see if they wanted it. Like I'm sure I could probably sell some of this stuff, but I think it's more cool just to show people.
Yeah.
There was some like old documents that I did sell this eventually, but there was like documents that old Detroit school system was, I don't know, like bartering to, and this was like 1920s or something, to build a new school, and it was like all the paperwork for that. That was neat to look at. And
somebody bought that?
Yeah.
Who bought that?
Oh, I sold it on eBay for like, I don't know, $160 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
So some like paper, like historian, like fact person wanted that.
Yeah. Paper's cool. A lot of people have offered to buy some of the weird stuff, but I almost feel a little uncomfortable even selling. I mean, that didn't have any names on it, like that was all public record.
Right.
But the one, something like the marriage certificate, like.
Who wants that?
Yeah, well, people even buy like old credit cards and stuff.
What?
Yeah, like credit cards, they're all expired. You couldn't use them or anything, but like some credit cards used to be like really tiny, and I've seen those online before, and people just kind of like heck, even on eBay they don't even cross out the name on there, but I've seen that. We've never tried to do anything or even keep those. I always still cut those up, but it's just interesting to know people will buy anything.
That is so crazy. That is so crazy. People are weird.
Yeah, but I live on the weirdness, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's how you make a living, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when you are, do you go travel the state doing this? Do you travel like the Midwest? Like what is your geographical area of working?
Well, basically just, we mainly do like the Lansing. Well, we've gone all over the place, honestly. Nowhere outside of Michigan, but I mean, if we could work something out where I know that I could make enough to like survive the trip, I guess, you know,
right?
Then I would go out of state. We've done I think one in the Flint area, or one of the biggest one that I talked about was I think in the Flint area where we took all those U-Hauls and where I found the cane.
Wow.
That one she was a friend of my grandma's, and
wow.
So that's probably the furthest we traveled. We've done some. I can't remember the actual town. It's like a couple hours outside of Bath. Okay. Was the furthest we went, like past Eaton County or whatever. I'm bad of like directions.
That's all right. That's cool though. I mean, because then you kind of get these artifacts or whatever from other locations. Is business booming for you, like in the Lansing area?
It is. Well, one thing is like there's like a ton of competition right now. Like after
Really?
COVID hit, people just, I don't know if they just everyone tried to do this. I mean, more like I don't know how many people are trying to do like the hoarder situations kind of clean outs that we do. That we still get quite a few jobs from, but like other, say like a garage clean out, like there's people are finding uninsured people to do it. There's a lot of, if you ever see on like Facebook where someone says, I'm looking for recommendation for a clean out or someone to come remove 6 refrigerators, you know, they got, everybody's outbidding each other on that.
Right.
So we have lost, you know, some business there, which is okay because there's enough stuff, honestly, to keep this going for a while.
Yeah.
But the bigger stuff that we do, it's hard. It's hard work, and the way we do it is even harder because we're sorting all this stuff. It's more time consuming because we're trying to go the eco-friendly route, and I think that's what keeps people drawn to us.
How do you do it eco-friendly? Like, what is your process for that?
Well, like I mentioned, all the papers. I'll sort through all the papers, and I'll make sure that, you know, those papers are not going to go in the dumpster. If we do have to rent a dumpster, it's going to be for like actual garbage, like food that's rotten, stuff that's too contaminated by mouse droppings, dirty litter boxes. I mean,
oh my gosh,
stuff that's just like actual like garbage. Clothing, if it's like covered in something gross, you know, I'd throw it away. But we recycle clothing. We recycle.
How do you recycle that? Do you take it to a place, or what do you do?
Well, we got a couple different ways that we do it. Like right now, I'm able to ship to a few different companies. That there was one. Well, I've only been able to do this once. But I got to work on this again. There was a company that was this was during COVID, taking some of the fabric that I was having, and they were stuff bow targets. So that was, and I need to figure out, I need to contact more people about that again. I can ship clothing to a few places.
And is this all local?
Nope. But most of it's in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some of it's through TerraCycle, like all children's clothing, like it can be ruined, and I can ship that through TerraCycle, but I was shipping so much for a while, they were kind of like,
Enough.
once a month, ma'am. Yeah. And then when we still take the clothing in though, because if we get any like decent clothing, we have a free clothing closet. So, because our schedule is kind of crazy, you kind of either have to set up an appointment or during our events, we set out the clothing closet for people to come get whatever.
Wow.
But we get
That's
a lot
really
of clothes. Cool. But then I also cut up clothing and I use it for cleaning, like cleaning. Or like we also repurpose stuff. I don't get to do it as much. I did a lot more of it in the beginning, but I use it to like stain and cleaning stuff off. Everything's always dusty,
Yeah.
So that's one way we recycle clothing.
Do you guys take donations of things?
Not really. Just I would say no. Just like if like I would take some stuff from like friends and family, but it just gets overwhelming because we get so much.
Yeah.
People ask us that a lot, but I almost feel like it's a way that like to not pay us to work, to do the work, But
well, somebody brought you stuff.
Well, yeah, like I brought this list and it kind of keeps growing too. But this is like stuff that we can recycle or we can use, and people can bring us the stuff on this list, which is like over 100 items.
Oh wow!
That people can bring us for free. So and if people bring us stuff and it's not on our list, like if you bring it to us, it's going to be cheaper than if we would have to go pick it up. Like say you have like some end tables or something or a kitchen table, and even if it's like destroyed or scratched up or something, we try to fix it up or do something where we could either sell it or donate it to somebody in the community.
Wow, that's really cool. Now you guys do a lot of work with the Fledge.
Yes, we love that.
Yeah. What kind of things do you do with the Fledge?
We help with like if there's things that they need. Like I know that one thing, Aaron went to go drop off some coats to them. We were doing a lot of art supplies, school supplies, donating that kind of stuff to them. They're also just like a great networking source for us.
Yeah.
I think Shannon and Jerry have introduced me to all kinds of people. I mean, I think that's where I met you.
Yeah.
At the Fledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Your guys' table was wild too. Like you guys had so many things. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
You guys had like toothpaste and like toothbrushes and toys, like brand new toys, like in packages.
Yeah, that's another way, like, we kind of get rid of stuff. And actually, I kind of like doing those kind of events more because...
And it was free, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like, this is free. I don't feel good about taking it.
Oh, take it, because we have so much.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I could imagine that would make a huge impact on the community.
I feel like we have helped... quite a bit, but I learned too, though, that we still have a lot of work to like get people used to used materials, used items, even if they're, say, a used pair of gloves. Sometimes people are still gonna kind of be like, I want new, and I understand that, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd prefer used because it saves me money, and then also I know that it's getting a second life and I'm getting the most use out of this. I feel like I have some work to do to kind of ease people into thinking that's okay. For a long time, people are like, oh no, I'm going to get some kind of germ or bug, even though, things are washed, everything's clean.
Right.
A lot of stuff could even be brand new in the package, but if it has like a rip on the package,
Yeah, people don't want it.
Right. So gotta teach people.
That's one thing that like we're a huge overconsumption country. We like overconsume everything, like clothes. I mean, you think about like other countries, like third world countries, they barely have any clothes. Like they might have a couple shirts and a couple pairs of pants or shorts, and they might be walking around barefoot or with sandals that are falling apart. But that's normal to them. To us, like we have to have new shoes every so often. We have to have new shirts. We have a closet stuffed full of stuff that we don't wear. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We have furniture that we don't use, or we go get rid of that and go buy something better.
Yeah, well, see, that's a lot of those people are part, like, I work with those people that like get rid of a lot of stuff, and then I'm able to filter it back into the community. I mean, like I said, there's still some work to be done, but some of the older stuff is going to last a lot longer too.
Oh, yeah, it's built better for sure.
Oh, yeah. The furniture, or not, yeah, actually furniture and clothing that are like more today. I guess they're able to make so much more, but it doesn't last long.
Yeah.
And it's also cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, especially jeans. Like jeans, I remember jeans back in the day were so tough. Like they were like just thick and like gritty and barely got holes in them unless you're like 3 or 4 and you're running around and sliding on your knees and you have patches. But um but now it's like they're so cheap. They're so cheap.
Yeah, well, they're making holes to make it popular. I mean,
And
we
then
could
charge
make
more
our
money
own,
for it.
right? Yeah. No, I agree with that too. I remember jeans being way better quality, t-shirts being a lot thicker.
Yeah.
And now just this thin stuff that's gonna last you like a couple washes is gonna have.
Yeah. It's gonna wear down, get really thin, and then eventually have a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the overconsumption of things, and it's something that I think I've become more aware of as time's gone. Like over the last couple of years, I would say. Actually, I'd say since COVID, it's kind of when I started really paying attention to like the things that we're recycling more and not like over consuming and I don't know. It's definitely one of those things though. Like we live like a standard American life, and you don't realize how wasteful we are as a society. And I think it's something that needs a change. But
yeah, this job has opened my eyes up to waste, because you'll see how much people just don't care, and they're just getting rid of like amazing things, and even just some of the stuff that's like, gently used, but brand new in the package stuff. I mean, like that event at the Fledge, we were doing like, we do a lot more in the summer, but we're doing like a couple of those like a month, just giving away, and that's just the free stuff, or not. That's like new stuff,
right?
And plus we're selling a lot of it, so just the amount people get rid of is crazy.
it really opens my eyes to it, like because I have kids, and so every Christmas, obviously, your kids get new toys and whatnot, but. So we always go through my kids' toys after Christmas, get rid of some of the old, and it's like, man, why are we getting rid? We just bought this last Christmas. Like we just did this recently. Obviously, Christmas was like a couple months ago, and so we were getting rid of some toys from last year. We always donate it to Goodwill, but it's like, man, these are perfectly like brand new toys, essentially, barely played with, and it's sad. It's like, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us?
Well, you might be missing out on some money, because...
Yeah, I'm definitely missing out on some money. It's just, that's one of those things that's like, you have to take the time to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, getting rid of stuff and decluttering is really good for your mind. So.
Yeah, the way I look at it too is like, if I can donate it to Goodwill, I mean, obviously they're selling it and somebody's buying it, but I'm sure they're selling it at a cheaper price, and hopefully another kid can play with it.
Yeah, Goodwill is like one of those, like...
I don't know much about it. Would you recommend it or no?
Well, if here's what Goodwill is great for: if you have like a lot of like miscellaneous oddball stuff, and donating is hard, because you go to one place and they're only accepting A, B, and like just a few things. So
right.
Clothing and shoes, and they're not taking any toys, and then Goodwill's gonna take it all. But Goodwill, like I was just there. We did drop like some stuff off, like miscellaneous stuff that like I just had to get rid of some stuff, and we went in shopping, and like a pair of brand new gloves was like $5, and so that's just crazy to me.
Like what kind of gloves?
Well, actually, not. I wouldn't say brand new. They were used gloves, and they were like $5, and I thought. Then they had new gloves too, and I think they get their stock from like Target.
Really?
Like a bunch of new stuff from them. Like Target can't sell it, so then it goes to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of like Target stuff there. But I just thought, wow, their prices are really, really crazy. And I know that everything is going up right now. But that's supposed to be for people that can't like afford stuff, you know,
Right,
and
right.
it's become like where people are going there to source to, and so I think because of that they're like, oh, we can get more money out of people.
Right.
But there's no way like someone who was low income could afford this used pair of gloves
For $5.
for like $5.
What kind of gloves? Like winter gloves?
No, yeah. They were like, you know, almost like those. I always wear like mismatched ones, but like you get those ones for your kids that are just like stretchy. They look really tiny.
Oh yeah.
But when you put them on, they're actually like
like the cotton
really
ones.
yeah. But I remember
those are $5.
Yes. Like, well, $4.49 or something. I think I did a post about it, and I was like, I cannot believe that these are like. I mean, they still looked new, but they're like gently used.
Yeah.
And like, how are these $4.49?
Oh my gosh.
And their clothes are up to like I think $10.99 for like pants and stuff, which is still probably better than it is at the store.
Yeah.
But I remember it being like $2.99.
Wow.
Is that really affordable for someone that's like trying to has, you know, food assistance and they don't have that much money, extra money? Well, if they do need an extra pair of pants.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's been so long since I've been into a Goodwill. I used to shop there like weekly. I had a girlfriend, her and I would go on dates. And this was back when we were in high school. And we would go to a Chinese restaurant and then we'd walk over to the Goodwill and I'd buy something for her at Goodwill. How romantic.
Yeah, but that's when Goodwill had good stuff.
Yeah. They had good stuff. They had really nice clothes. Like you could get like a brand new like Express shirt or like Banana Republic with the tag still on it for like a couple bucks.
Yeah, I shopped there too. Then you get some really cool, good stuff there, and it was kind of like almost like a secret because other people might have been like,
"Why are you shopping at Goodwill?"
Yeah. But then they don't, when I have this brand new shirt on, do they know it came from Goodwill? No, they don't.
Right, exactly. Oh, that's funny. So you brought some stuff with you. What did you bring?
Well, I brought one copy I can leave with you. And this is just to reference like all the things that we accept that people can bring. Some of them, we've never received any because it's kind of like oddball stuff. But then some of our bigger things are like toys. It can be in any condition except for toys, like larger outdoor toys. Like I don't have extra space for that.
Like a play set?
Yeah. Like I couldn't take anything like that, but as long as it's like cleanish, you know, like if it has some stains on it, not, you know, big deal, but like, you know, I don't want like macaroni and cheese stuck to it or something. But toys are probably the biggest thing that we recycle. Like ink pens, any kind of writing utensils. I think that's probably the because can weigh a lot eventually. Same with toys. So I think those are the things we've probably recycled the most, as well as like metal. You know, because you can make a little money on that. But there's like Tide products and Taco Bell sauce packs. We can recycle those. Interesting.
How do you recycle those?
We just save them up until like we got about a pound, and then we just send them to TerraCycle, and that one is located in the United States. But even Taco Bell has their own recycle thing there too.
Wow.
And we're considered a drop off on the TerraCycle site, so people can bring us their sauce packets if they like.
Wow.
Or anything cool on here.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think that's one thing that keeps us aside from like our bigger competitors, because I mean this part takes a lot of effort.
Right.
It takes a lot of space, and sometimes it makes me crazy because it's a lot of extra work. But we're willing to do that to be different, and because it's something I enjoy and I have a passion for. So recycling we will be doing forever.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And it's cool to have people like you in our community that have a passion for something like that. And it's not just a job. It's like it's a part of who you are as a person, and you find joy in doing it. I mean, nobody wants to go into a hoarder's house but you.
True. It's true. I mean, sometimes depending on the hoarder situation, you might be like, oh, I want to go, because just like the ones I was telling you about that was in the Flint area, those like there would be maybe like some like bags of like broken lotion and stuff, but then there was like 15 bags of brand new clothes. And then we got like all this, I mean, I don't know. I think she was eventually going to wanted to eventually open a store, had all these ideas, but there would be like maybe a couple bags of trash and then 10 bags of amazing things.
Wow.
And yeah, it just depends on the situation. And sometimes, for the most part, hoarder situations, like there's like really good stuff, and then you get down to the floor and that's where the bad stuff is. Where it's like, that's where the foundation might have started to get ruined. And
right. They were trying to protect it. They stuck it on top. Yeah.
So I like brand new stuff is found all the time in hoarder situations.
So when you go into a hoarder's house, what are you wearing? Do you wear like a hazmat suit?
I always, for sure, we do have hazmat suits. It kind of depends on how bad it is, but I always have booties, and I always have gloves, and I always have, I don't always wear them, but there have definitely been times where I have to wear them. You know, it kind of depends on how bad it smells and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I usually do wear a mask, because they're usually can be pretty dusty. I get like allergic reaction to like mouse droppings.
Oh my gosh.
So I get really itchy and stuff. So I always have to wear like long clothing.
Do you like scrub yourself as soon as you get home? I feel like I would. I'd be like in the bathroom like.
Yeah, I will. Before like right in the doorway, I change clothes because the only thing with those like suits is that it can get really hot and So, and then sometimes my husband gets to do some of the dirtier work. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm in doing like, you know, I'll come get like all the stuff that I know that has value or I'm like excited about or the toys. And then it's like, get to work. I hate saying that, but I mean, he doesn't mind. It doesn't bother him as much. So what I wear kind of just depends on the situation, but we're prepared for all.
Wow. And do you guys have your son doing this too? Is he involved?
He is involved. If you talk to him, he will tell you that he is the manager. He hasn't really been in any like horror situations, you know. He's probably been to the properties, but doesn't really get to go inside or anything because it just
safety and whatnot. I could imagine that it's probably good for him to see different lifestyles, like going into people's houses and seeing the way people live and then seeing the things that come out of there probably would be beneficial for him to learn. It's almost like an education in a sense, as far as like what things to save, what things to get rid of, what things are good, what things are bad. Like, I don't know. I feel like that'd be really, really beneficial for him.
It is, and when we're outside, and he'll pick up water bottles, and he picks up pens, and he knows what things we recycle. So he'll like, oh, we can recycle this, and I've cleared out his pockets before, and he's got like pens in there, and he's got like half a water bottle. Like, well, these aren't yours, and he's like, I'm picking up. Well, that's good. Especially like that he's involved in like the giving process. He likes to give stuff, and it's like it almost sometimes brings tears to my eyes to see him like
that's really cool. Some
of these organizations like giving away some of his old toys or
wow. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And that's really hard for kids to do. My son struggles with letting other kids play with his toys or other kids taking his old toys. I think he actually he brought some of his toys to the Fledge that one day we were there, and I think your son was playing with it. I don't even think he liked it, but I think he allowed it. So
that's really good. That's good.
Yeah. No, we're always like, you need to share. If you brought it, you need to share.
Oh, I know, it was the bike.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
There were some other kids playing with it too.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like to share their things.
He seems like that too, though. I think that's totally normal. Like with the first things, like if he gets something new, he'll show it and he'll like let people touch it, but he's like eyeing it like,
you cannot have more fun with it than me.
Right, exactly.
Once I see that, then it's mine. I'm back to owning it. It's mine. Kids are hilarious. Is there anything else you would like to promote or talk about real quick before we wrap this up?
Maybe just like our next event is going to be May 20th, and it's going to be with the Humane Society. It's going to be an adoption event with puppies and kittens.
Wow.
We're still accepting. I haven't even really done too much advertising for it yet, but we're looking for vendors. A part of the vendor fee will go to the Humane Society, and it usually we only charge like $25, so it's pretty reasonable. You can come sell your stuff.
Is there a certain kind of vendors you're looking for the event, or just anybody?
Really, anybody. I haven't put out a notice or anything for it yet, but I am looking for like a food vendor for sure, especially because we get stuck there for like 8 hours and we can't really leave. And so a food vendor is great. From Aaron alone, you're going to make a couple $100, I'm sure, because he's a foodie.
Yeah. Yeah.
not a couple hundred, but he will go overboard and want to try like everything.
I understand that. I get that, because anytime I go somewhere, like, cause I don't go to events that often. So anytime there's food there, I'm like, I want that. I want that. I want that. And so I end up having to try food from like everybody, but
yeah,
especially from local businesses. Cause like, I don't usually shop around too much. Like I don't go out to eat that often. So when I do, when they're all in one spot, I'm like, I need to try it now.
Well, that's right up. That's exactly how Aaron is. And I can't say I'm not like that too, but I'm a little like that too. Yeah.
So you guys are going to be at the Humane Society in May, and then do you have any other events planned for the year?
Well, it'll actually be at our location, which is just down the street from the Humane Society, like less than a mile.
Okay.
And that's in the industrial park, the Eagle Ledges Industrial Park. And then every month we'll have another event, like at least once a month. We have another event where our warehouse will be open, for treasures. We'll have some kind of promotion. Usually we try to the vendor fee part of it will go to we'll pick a nonprofit and then kind of highlight that nonprofit.
Wow.
So to kind of
that's cool.
Give back a little bit.
Yeah.
So for the rest of summer, usually through October, we'll have at least one event a month.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, you should come out for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come set something up.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, not like this, but we're having something at the Fledge, people were.
Yeah, it was just my wife was selling jewelry and my daughter was selling cookies, and then I just was promoting the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. But I have apparel now, so I could do something with that.
That would be great. We'd love to have you out. So.
Okay. I'll think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get more information and think about it. Okay. Awesome. So do you have a website?
We do.
I think I have it pulled up.
Junk in the Trunk cleanouts.com.
Let's see here. Is that it?
Yep, that's us.
This is your website. Oh, boy. There we go. Oh, and then you can just shop right there. I want to see what you have on your website.
Gosh, I haven't looked at it in a while.
I hate it when people pull up my website. I'm like, don't pull it up in front of me. Whoa. You have some interesting stuff on here.
Yeah, there's some of our oddball stuff. I need to get some more repurposed art. I love working with that kind of stuff.
I like those globes. Those are really cool. Wow, that's really cool.
That painting is really cool too. It's. I just know that it's signed from I don't know anything about it really.
This one?
It's from the 1930s, and it's just I don't know. It's just I know I can just tell it's something odd. And the lady who built our website just kind of just picked a price. So I said, I don't know even what to put on it. It probably needs to be appraised. It's probably $1 million painting.
Really?
Watch, it sells now.
So do you know who? Wow. I don't know why it's not popping up on the screen, but it's really cool. So it's like a boxer.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but it's signed and it's dated on the back.
What's the date on it?
I think it says 1929.
Wow.
And that was an odd one too. Next door to us, there was we used to rent this building next door, and there was a moving company that moved in next to us, and they would just be like, "Hey, you guys want to come check out people would just leave them with stuff, a moving company. So they had a whole truck where they were like, they just, I guess the people didn't pay them or something, and the lady said just keep the stuff or something. So he had us said we could go take whatever we wanted, and we took every single box. That was in there, and that was sweet.
Wow. That is so cool. Yeah, I would keep that if I were you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool. So, yeah, go to the website. Check it out. There's some unique stuff on there. All right. Well, thank you for doing this. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Nope. But now I'm comfortable, so I could talk forever, so you better get rid of me.
I always tell people that once you get like an hour into the podcast, then that's when you like kind of break the barrier down, and that's when you can have like a real conversation.
Yeah.
It always happens like an hour into the podcast. It's almost like we need to like sit down for an hour and just talk, get the awkwardness out of the way, and then just start like hit record.
Yeah. Well, it worked, and now I feel like I'm on top of the world. I could do any podcast now.
Well, you can come back and do another podcast.
Okay,
so,
I would love to.
Yeah, I love having regulars, because when somebody comes back, then you feel comfortable, and then that's when the podcast gets fun. Because the first time it's like, okay, we're trying to get a feel for each other and like feel like how the conversation is going to go. And then like once you do it after that, it's like, then it's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, This was fun. I just was nervous at first. And I just knew I'd be a little bit weird, like, because I always just have that weirdness. But
no, you're fine. I've definitely had weirder podcasts, a lot weirder.
Oh,
I actually interviewed the mayor of Lansing when I first started the podcast. I was probably like maybe 30 episodes in. Actually, I don't even think I was 30. And that was a strange podcast, because like he's so political, and like, like you ask him a question, he'd give you like a short answer, and then I'd have to try to like dig things from him. It was only like a 25-minute conversation.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, I think we should wrap this up. It was bad. It was really bad. But then luckily for me, it didn't record audio. So like I was still learning my equipment back then, and yeah, it didn't record, so I didn't release it.
I've had a weird experience with the mayor before too. I was like trying to get photographs with like all these people at one point, and he denied me a photograph.
What? He said no?
Yeah. But
Why?
I got one with Verge. He took a picture with me. He took a few pictures with me, and I think I have a few pictures with him.
A lot of people don't like that mayor.
Yeah.
The new mayor. Or Andy.
Yeah.
Andy Shore.
Yeah. Oh, it was I think the mayor before him. He's the newer mayor, right?
Andy Shore, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Verge Bonero.
No, he was the nice one. He was the one that took multiple pictures with me, very nice. And
who was the one before him?
Oh, is he the one with the Flint crisis? Or am I thinking of not the mayor? Am I thinking of the governor?
The governor.
Oh yeah, he denied my photo request.
Wow.
At an event.
He said no?
He said no. And then he even had like a bodyguard that was kind of like came up to me and was like, "Back off, lady." And I was like, okay.
What?
Yeah, I was much younger then too, and I was all dialed up. No.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I don't understand why you would do that.
It was like an event to be in the public,
Right.
So other people were getting pictures and stuff. I don't know. I guess I seemed too excited. I wanted it too bad.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that is so crazy, because like I've met like politicians, and I've always been able to get pictures with them. I've met like famous comedians, and like whenever I see them, like, can I have a picture with you? Like, yeah. It's like I've never been denied a picture.
Oh, I kind of actually haven't really tried to ask people since then. Not that it like really deterred me, but I wasn't doing as much public work then. At that time is when I worked for the elder law.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was out like promoting the nonprofit and doing work with them. And so like it was just kind of like a silly thing I would try to do, like tell all the ladies when I get back, like, I got a picture with this person, I got a picture with that person, and I was just out to try to make friends and connections. And
wow, that's crazy. I'm not a fan of politicians.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, I've had a few on the show, and each time it's like, well, for one, people don't like it because then now you're kind of splitting party lines. Or people are like, oh, well, he talked to that person, so he must be this, or talk to that person, so he must think this. It's like, no, we just want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I don't know, it. And like the politicians, they're always like, I don't know, they're kind of sleazy, like in the way they like talk. Like they're not fully honest, like they always have something they're trying to push.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a fan.
Fun.
No. But anyways, on that note, we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Thanks for doing this, Audra. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
And
Great time.
I hope to have you back.
I hope to be back.
All right.
All right.